Okay, working on the wiring right now. So it's pretty small stuff. I'm using this little miniatures. So I got to cut onto there. That one's crimped. So I use these little small connectors here. So easily, whichever plug you're using here, use the opposite one on the retainer. So this one here is the female, so you use males. And this one being the male one, you use the female ones, which are the round ones. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to put this one on this side, the bigger one on the other side. So this one here, you got to set the depth for your engagement. So you take your piece here, so it only crimps on this small little piece right above my thumb right there. This part here is where the wire goes in. So you drop that down into the hole down there. Then you squeeze this here until you see the things come in. And you adjust it so you're inside of the sweet spot. Like I did right there, it's right in the middle. So when you crimp it, it's got a good solid crimp. And this one here, I might have went a little bit too far in. So that means I can adjust it back just slightly if I want to. So you adjust it here by undoing this, getting about half a turn and relocking it. And if you have not crimped that yet, just push it down, it'll be fine. So that's a fine adjustment. You only need about a little over 1/8 of an inch of this showing. Doesn't need much. So as you go about 3/16 at least. So basically it goes in this distance right here, which is almost a 1/4 inch worth. So I want to make sure I get in there almost all the way. A little bit deeper. Take off another 30-second worth, if it'll come off. Spin it tight. Well, it is important these are the same height, otherwise it doesn't hook up very well. Yeah. Crimp it. A little piece of wire didn't get caught. Thought I had a little straggler there. Okay, so that gives you a nice good crimp right there. This is really small, so it's hard to see. Get you in there. Okay, now you take your male piece and just shove it on through here. Those. Just a little bit at a time. See that wire right there is going to be a little bit of a problem, but not too bad. Get them both going. You go in until they click. You'll hear them click up in there when they get all the way in. Obviously I didn't do that correctly because it went all the way through and kept on going. Yep. Things are so small they don't stop very well. Where am I getting fluid from here? Leaking from someplace or draining from somewhere else. so small it's easy to overdo stuff. So there's two little clips in there it's supposed to pop into. This thing is so small it doesn't really catch in there like it's supposed to. My fingers are too clumsy today to feel it. Just can't feel it. I'll put the little screwdriver in there to put a little load on it. I can feel the stop anywhere. There, I heard it. That's when I went too far though. Yeah, I guess it does go in there that deep. Let's see, just that one a little bit deeper. They're just about all the way up, so these are a locking tab here. If you do it right, it goes in. Went in. Big clumsy hands with too small of parts is fun. Okay, here's a little small terminal that's supposed to go in there. It has a drag on it, like it's supposed to. So it is correct. Alright, so there's the one. Here's the other one. Pull back a little bit, see better. So this has a little sealing in there. Just goes in here like that. And goes pop, and you're in. So you just got to put the other side in though. It comes off that easy. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. I'm going to have to cut this wire here, which is the original wire. I figure I want to cut it out. So I want to tie this to the line so you take the load off the fine wires here. So I want to zip tie it at some point. So it's all up there where it belongs. Roll, you can see better. So we're going to zip tie this to our brake line here. That'll take the load off this wire, so unless you bump into it. Other than that, it's going to be no load on it. Got this back here, so I'm going to have to figure out where we want to put this to. I can pull this a little bit forward if I want to make sure I get a little extra. So I got to figure out where the terminal is going to end at, because I don't really remember. Okay, the wire is going to end basically at the front of that. So the wires need to go all the way up to here. Probably pull it back a little bit, got a lot of excess here to play with. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this right about here. So we're all done, that'll fit right in there like that. Zip tie it right there and things should be fine. You can also zip tie this back here so it would stay up there out of the way. Lost my rag again. There it is. Wipe all this stuff down because it's full of goo. Okay, so I can come out on this side of the bike and work on it over here now. We have better access. Once you figure out what you're doing. Take it back here a little bit. First thing I do, we got to cut this back so we got access to our wire. So, without cutting the wire, some of that slinky stuff here, it feels like. Oh, okay, well. Just slid that back, I guess. Oh well. Okay, so this is the harness is inside of here. This is fine. Okay, so why are we leaking here? I'm leaking brake fluid someplace. It's kind of important that you're not doing that. That's dry. Back here it's wet. There's our wetness over there. So we're leaking on the back of the cylinder. That is not leaking there. That's probably just residue. Come from the back of the lid maybe. I'm going to wipe that down again. Thought I got all the residue off that I spilled. When I put the lid down, it spilled a lot out. So. That's all dry. There's residue but no moisture. Brake fluid doesn't just go away. Clings and sticks and gooey crap I don't like. Alright. Back to my wire, and I got interrupted by a mess. Okay, so I gotta get this cut back without cutting no actual wires. These are a little bit too big. Pocket knife. Comes in handy. I don't understand how people do not have pocket knives in their pockets. It's a very handy tool. I use it a lot. Okay, so we got a red wire and an orange wire. Orange is always a hot wire in Harley. It's going to be your plus 12 volt power source. Red is going to be going back to your tail light, or brake light I mean. That's how it's the only one that's left. Okay, so now we got our other two terminals we got to do here. So we do the same trick. We stripped off about 1/4 inch of material last time. Let's see if we went too much with that. That might have been too much on this one. A little bit too big for this terminal also. Yes. So we're too long and too big. That is a problem. Make them equal again. So it's too big to go inside of the miniature terminal. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut some of the copper away. So if you go to the next size increment, it'll start cutting copper away. Actually, we're already in a fine increment. Going down will do it. See if we cut anything away. Oh yeah, it cut some off. Yep. Maybe too much. So let's go cut the other wire and see what it looks like. To fine tune this a little bit. Gotta find a sweet spot. Perfect. So not the first notch, the second notch is what we want. Okay, so clip both of those off again. So now we can come up with some clean wire. So you want to keep them equal, so. And this one you don't want to get too much off. Okay, it goes on there now. Okay, I'm going to set my tool. Looks like it's set about the same, so I'm good with that. So I'm going to go ahead and put it on top of here this time. Very little excess there. I'm going to slip this on there, and then we'll crimp it right here. Perfect, right on the money. There you go, see, right where we wanted it. So they're good. So cut the other one, do the same thing. Like I said, we're cutting the gauge of the wire down as we're doing this. Because these were probably 18 gauge, and these little miniatures probably only want to see like 20 gauge wire. We have to make it fit. There we go. Put that out of the way. It's on there. It's hard to get a good feel, but it's in there. Okay, where's our terminal at? Over here. So we just poke this one in there and do the same thing as before. It doesn't really matter which one of these goes where. It's going to plug in no matter what. These are both red up here. It's a switch, so it's an on-off. It does not matter which one goes to where. So whichever one you want to poke it into is the correct one. This time I felt a hard stop right up in there. So we pushed them in there to get a nice hard spot there. We got to put this here. We got to push the wedge in there, and that'll lock them in there so they won't come out. Deutsch stuff is really nice, friendly to use. I don't know which side it goes on. That is yet to be determined. So I would say I want the smooth side going to the back, like that. Take a little screwdriver and just kind of push on a little bit. If it doesn't just fall right in, then you're doing it wrong. I think in this case gravity's hurting me, so I flip it the other way. And then everything went in nice and cleanly. Pop. When you hear it go pop, it's locked in. See, it's all nice up in there right now. That's where I can see. Okay, where's our other end at? Okay, you see that little clearance right there where it should go right through it, if I did it correctly. It's on the low side. Hopefully it'll fit. We will find out in just a minute here. She popped in. Okay, we should have working brake lights now. I wonder if he left me an ignition switch key. Ooh, we have a key. We have lights. Ooh, we have brake lights. See? Look at that. Appears to be working. Amazing. Okay, so now you do is zip tie this up over here a little bit so it's in a nice safe spot. And we'll go and do that right now. And we'll be done with this. At least until he goes out and rides it again. Alright, so that's how you do all that. Nice tedious work. Yeah, it's only 11:30. It's not even late yet. So it only took about an hour and a half to do all this. Oh boy. Alright, that's it for this one for a while. Hopefully it'll stay gone for a while, but with that belt being that loose, I doubt it. So we'll see. You'll see it back on the rack again probably. Alright, that's it for the night on this one.